because our administration in the city of Sarasota has taken over too much of our responsibility as city commissioners, and I think it's time for us to reclaim that process as commissioners.
Okay, this is I think you guys started to touch on this, but this is another one from my friend Dan. Do not make fun of Dan, my job. Some groups, such as citizens groups such as STOP, claim that more development should require more public hearings rather than just be subject to quote-unquote administrative approval. Do you agree, and why or why not? We started with Fred twice, so Matt, I'm going to go back to you to start.
I totally disagree. I'd like to use the analogy of a pilot. She's well trained. She's got her flight plan. Her crew has helped her. She's cleared with air traffic control. It turns out, amazingly, every single passenger in her aircraft is also an airline pilot. Now, there's only one reason for her to walk out of that cabin, out of her cockpit into the cabin. She either needs to go to the bathroom, or she's going to check with the other passengers and see if there's a sound they weren't able to hear. But the idea that the captain has to go through the cabin and get approval for the flight plan from all the passengers is absurd. And I believe that the Council of Neighborhood Associations and STOP are the kind of passengers you ride with that reach up and pull that thing as soon as they want the flight attendant to come get them. I think I've made myself clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Sperling. 30 seconds, by the way. Let's keep it short. We're getting close on time.
I think it's actually quite a good idea to have the community involved when there's development, especially if it's impacting the neighborhoods nearby. I don't see a problem why people should get involved. If you push the community out, then they feel like they're not, like they're not a part of Sarasota. And I think that the youth, at least my generation and the generation after me, they need to get the idea that the city cares about them. And the only way for that to happen is for the city to say, hey, we're having a hearing, we want to hear what you think. And I don't like to have a type of oligarchy running the city.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. Obviously I am for the community's voice participating in the development process. It is, from my point of view, the way that the city functions on the outside is the way it should function on the inside. We used to have the public's voice as part of the process 14 years ago, and that was changed. It is essential when you have a development that is going to impact a community, impact a neighborhood, impact the surroundings, that the people that are part of that community and live in the adjacent neighborhoods have a voice. Now, the voice doesn't necessarily land the plane or stop the plane from landing or crash it to the ground.
I was going to gavel you until you started that. Back to the gavel show. All right, the spoon has been invoked. Yes.
That voice is actually an essential part of the process. In my neighborhood, we had proposals for incompatible development. We got to participate, and what we have now is a project that we went forward through the public process and supported that project. Now that project is part of our neighborhood and part of our community. And this can happen throughout the entire city. I met with the developer for the Quay project, which is a massive project. They are opting for the public process. Very specifically, they said to us that they would never develop a project of that size and of that mass without involving the community. They depend on the community to be a part of that project. They're going to build a Main Street grid, which is what they hope to do. They want to build a public waterfront area. I'm not necessarily in support of this project or not in support of it,